first impressions of the Soap & Glory foundation. So this is a matte foundation. It claims a 12-hour wear. It claims to like be full coverage, no caking, and to like blur your complexion, where your complexion is just beautiful and you can't see your pores. There's a lot coming from a drugstore foundation. I don't know how long Soap & Glory has been around. It's pretty new to me, but I was interested in trying this foundation because I saw a review on a hand lotion and it got like rave reviews. So I was like, let me try this foundation. Maybe this will be great. So this is my third time wearing it. I wore it yesterday for about 11 hours. And then I wore it the day before for about 6 hours. And I'm here to tell you the foundation is absolutely gorgeous. It does have a matte finish. So the way that I apply this foundation is I applied it with a makeup brush. You want to remember to exfoliate because it's always going to highlight like your wrinkles, your dead skin, any dry patches that you have. A matte foundation will emphasize that. So I did have to make sure that I exfoliated. And then two, you always want to moisturize. So I made sure my face was heavily moisturized because with a matte foundation, it tends to make your skin even more dry. So the way that I applied this foundation on was I used a brush and I just gently buffed it into my skin. It doesn't really absorb because it dries so fast. So it kind of just floats on top of your skin. And it does dry extremely quickly, so you do have to be fast when you're working with it. If you miss a patch of skin and you notice it's not blended well, if my brush is dried out, I just pump a little dot back onto my brush and then whip it back into place. This foundation actually reminds me of the Revlon Color Stay foundation, but it's a lot more drying. It's probably more similar to the CoverGirl. CoverGirl came out with a new beauty balm, so it's probably more similar to that one as far as in dryness. Because it's like you don't get any moisture at all from this foundation. As far as coverage, I will say that this is a light to medium coverage foundation for me. I can still kind of see some of my dark spots coming through the foundation, and it could be due to the color match. I'm closer to the color that the bottle actually is. I know it sounds crazy, but when it comes out of the bottle, it's lighter. And I don't know if the bottle, I was going to say the bottle is tinted, but I don't think that it is. But somehow the bottle is darker than the actual foundation. So the color of the bottle is closer to my skin tone. And I would say this foundation is maybe a shade or half a shade too light, but it does match my neck, so everything just kind of flows. I purchased this from Ulta, and the color is not on the bottle actually. There's only 4 colors to choose from. I picked the darkest color. So that's definitely a con with this foundation, the color choices. I will say that the undertones in this foundation is more like a golden orangey color. And those are the colors that I tend to look for when I purchase foundation because my skin is kind of like golden orange or yellowy orange. As far as my foundation color, in MAC, I usually wear an NC44, and I would say this is pretty comparable to that, probably even a little bit closer to NC42. I think this is a great mattifier. I normally have a very oily T-zone, and it kept me pretty matte. I could see some slight shininess coming through, but it wasn't a lot. One thing to note with this foundation is I did use a setting spray. I normally don't use a setting spray, but I can tell when I applied it that if I didn't kind of thin it out with a setting spray, that it was going to get cakey. So what I used the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, and I sprayed that on top of the foundation, and that made it look more wet. I used a pump and a half, and I think that is a lot for a foundation because it is matte and it dries so fast. You may have to use more, and my makeup brush was dirty, so that probably absorbed it probably absorbed a little bit more than what it should. It probably won't last as long as some of my other foundations where I can only use a pump. And as far as the pricing, it was $20. I think that's pretty expensive for a drugstore foundation. I mean, for $20 I can almost get like 2 Revlon Color Stays, and I would say that they're pretty similar in performance. As far as like flashback or anything like that, I haven't noticed. I really haven't taken any pictures with this particular foundation. I don't believe that it contains SPF, so there shouldn't be a flashback on it. As far as the super blur technologies, I don't know about that. All I know is that Once I apply the foundation, it looks really nice on my skin. If you're not careful, it will emphasize like your dry patches, any like wrinkles that you have. So you do have to be really careful when applying this foundation. You do want to like kind of thin it out with a setting spray. So those are my thoughts on this foundation. Overall, I think that this is a very good foundation for a drugstore foundation. I don't know if it's really the best drugstore foundation there is, but I am impressed. It did a pretty good job like controlling my oil, keeping my whole face matte, and it does last all day. If you're not careful, you can get some cakiness. It says that it does not cake, but I could just tell if I apply too much that it would kind of give me like a cake face. So I thinned it out a little bit with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. As far as the color selection, they have got to do better with the color selection. Unfortunately, there is extremely limited color options, so they're missing out. Like, they're missing a huge range of people that could potentially use their foundation. I've seen this foundation get like negative reviews, and for me, it works. I don't have any problems so far. It keeps me matte. It hasn't made me break out or anything like that. It hasn't clogged my pores. It's a decent color match. And I mean, I don't know what else to ask for a drugstore foundation. I mean, overall, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on this foundation. I hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video.